Good morning. Happy Monday after the 4th of July. Just walked through a spider web. We have been trying to get caught up mostly on laundry. Every Monday I say the same thing. I need to get caught up on laundry. There's too much laundry. We didn't do enough laundry over the weekend. So for one thing, we stagger showers for our kids, so half of them shower one day, half of them shower the next, every other, except on Saturdays. So Friday night, none of the kids shower unless they want to, and then Saturday, everybody showers so that we're clean for church. So that's why we get so far behind, because 10 towels all at once is a lot. And then usually on Sunday, they will wear something nicer to church, come home and change for the afternoon, put the church clothes back on, and they should save those afternoon clothes for Monday, and they don't always. So we have extra clothes. So we've been working on that, and I've been working on weeding the garden slowly but surely. I'm using the bucket back there and just doing one bucket at a time, and when the bucket's full, I'm done. I'm just gonna walk away, and that's going to be it until the next time. So I've been doing that last week and then starting again today. And even what I already did last week is getting weedy again. I can pull the actual weeds pretty easily, but the grass is really hard. And you can see it's kind of a shame because most of what is here is grass compared to our yard. There's much more grass in our garden, but we fertilize the garden and we don't fertilize the yard. So I've been working on that, working on laundry. Kids were doing some math because we're doing math through the summer. And my husband went back to work this morning, but he called and said he took his first truck, dropped it off, and was supposed to pick up a second truck in the same location and then take it an hour away. And when he got there, there was damage to that second truck. So he couldn't take it, so they'll pay him attempted pickup, which is a certain flat rate, and he's on his way home. So it's only just after 12. He's coming home for the day, and we were talking about what we were going to do for the rest of the day. And you guys, I know it sounds like all we do is fun stuff all the time, but it's just this time of year, I guess, and taking advantage of things whenever we can. So my husband had worked on my daughter's car. It needed tie rod ends, and so he had done that, and he needs to get it aligned. Once you replace the tie rod ends, then the tire alignment on the front isn't right. So he needs to get that done. And so we were talking, we said, well, we could at least go and drop it off at the tire shop, and then they can get to it sometime this week, and then we can pick it up late this week or early next week, because when he's at work and my oldest is at work, I can't take it in there and sit with it or take it and drop it off because I don't have a second driver. So it makes it hard to get there. So we are going to, I think, take it to the tire shop, at least drop it off, and then since he's off and since we are already in town, I think we're gonna go to the lake. So this is a man-made lake. There's not a lot of natural lakes, if any. I don't think there's any natural lakes in Maryland. I'll have to double check that. But anyway, it's our biggest local lake, only local lake, I guess. And it's a park, and so the cost for Maryland residents is $3 per carload. So we can go and get in the lake, and we're just going to take snacks and drinks from home and hang out there for the afternoon. We used to go to the lake all the time, and since we have a pool, we just don't. We just hang out at home. But since we have to be in town anyway, it's another 5 miles to the lake, and it should be a fun afternoon. And then we're gonna come home and make dinner. So it's a pretty low-key day, but I think the kids will be excited. I had told you guys that our 17-year-old's working at camp, but this is a half week, so she is not going back. We picked her up Saturday morning, and then she doesn't have to go back until tomorrow evening. So usually she's not with us to do anything that we do during the week, but she's here today So we're just gonna take everybody and have a fun afternoon. So that's the plan. I think I'm gonna go ahead and weed another little section here while I'm waiting for my husband to get home and for Evie to get done with her math so we can have lunch. Put on my gloves and pull some weeds. Oh, it scared me. I got up and went to walk this way, and we haven't weed-eated the path, obviously. And we've got a turtle. Mr. Box Turtle here. He's just hanging out in the garden. So we're gonna let him alone and go weed now. I'm working in between rows, and this row is taking me forever because it's carrots and they're so frail and so slender. You can see as I weed around it, they just fall over. And then they do perk back up, but I'm not thinning them yet. I feel like they're getting enough trauma just having the weeds pulled around them. So hopefully I can at least get this last little section here done between the rows. So it's not perfect, but we got this whole section right here pretty much done. I went like up to the carrots, but I didn't get all the little grass in between them yet. But there's our bucket, full enough, calling it good. I'm going in the house to cool off.
Now you decide where you want to go. It's up to the amazing woman on my left. Look at her. She's beautiful. Mwah.
I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little piece of our drive home. That was last night. It's Tuesday now, and we've already had kind of a busy day. My 15-year-old is doing some work for someone, and so I took him and dropped him off. And my 13-year-old is going to help my mother-in-law at a camp for the next, like, 2 weeks, I think it is. She comes home on her birthday. So, yeah, it's like almost 11 o'clock, and I haven't gotten a whole lot accomplished other than a couple loads of laundry, which is normal. But today is July 8th, and that means it is Prime Day, and we are not Prime members. We don't pay for a Prime membership, but I am going to look at deals, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Like, obviously, it doesn't make sense for anybody to just go onto Prime and start looking and seeing, or onto Amazon, looking to see what is on sale. I can't stand people who influence other people to buy stuff that they didn't need, they didn't even know that they wanted until they saw a video or an Instagram post or whatever. But I am going to look on Amazon because 2 of my daughters have birthdays this month, and so we set aside money every month and build up our gift fund. We don't like let it get excessive, but so that whenever birthdays come, we have some money set aside for a gift or gifts, and then some money set aside to either put toward a party or put toward something that they want to do. Usually our kids just choose to go out for a meal with Dan and I, and it's just like one-on-one time. So we set aside $50 for that for each kid, and then for their gift we set aside like $30 to $40. So you know, with 8 kids that adds up. And then of course we have gifts for Mother's Day and Father's Day, and sometimes we do something for Easter, although it's usually just candy, or Valentine's Day or something like that. So we set aside the money for that. So I have my gift funded for their birthdays at the end of the month. And then we also, I feel like this is controversial because it's something that I probably would have said that I wouldn't ever do, but we have a little thing of index cards on a ring, and it has, each kid has an index card with their name at the top. And as they think of something that they want, would like to have, are tempted to buy, they write it on the list, and then they can go through and cross things off if they decide to buy it, or if they decide that it just isn't a priority for them. And the reason that I would have said that I would have never done this is because it drives me crazy whenever people say like, oh, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? Because I want my kids to be thankful for whatever they're given. But at the same time, I was trying to keep track of things as they mentioned it. If they said a book that they wanted or whatever, I was trying to keep track of that. And it would be like in my mind and then gone if I didn't write it down right away. So I just told them to write it on here, and then that gives me some options to choose from. I know that I'm giving them something that they want. It gives me time to look for deals. And then they're also not always going right out and spending their money on something that they want, because they know they can write it on there. And then after their birthday or after Christmas, we take out their card and rewrite anything that they weren't given, asking them, you know, is there anything you want to take off this list or whatever. Sometimes they have birthday money and they'll go, oh yeah, I forgot, I really wanted to buy that, and they'll go buy it. But so we have one for each of us. Some of them, like Aaron has one CD on his, Abby's is completely full, Micah's is pretty full. My husband's, I think, has one thing on it that we didn't get him for Father's Day. Mine has one thing on it, but everybody has an opportunity to write down things that they want. So I'm going to look at Prime or at Amazon. I don't know why I keep saying Prime. Look at the Prime Day deals on Amazon. I know that like Target and Walmart do things too, deals at the same time to kind of compete, and see if I can get the birthday shopping wrapped up and done for these 2 birthdays. And these are our last 2 kid birthdays for the year. So all of our kids are born from January 15th until July 24th. So we have 8 kids in that first 7-month span, or 6 months-ish of time in the year. And then Dan's and my birthday are at the end of the year in the fall. And we have Christmas in the winter, of course, but this is our last kid birthdays, and then we get a couple month break before we're back into it again. So this is Evie's list, and she has gotten better with her spelling and stuff, but especially at the beginning, I'm not really sure what all of them. I do know that one is fabric. So hers is a smartwatch, which we had gotten the older girls. They're just off-brand ones on Amazon. Fabric. I don't know what that one is. Good pens. Oh, that's a journal. A journal. Good pens. A baby seat for the back of my bike. Sticker book. The Babysitter's Little Sister comic books. Magic Tree House, the graphic novel. And this is Baby Bop from Bloom. They saw that on a YouTube video. I don't even think they're made anymore. But that's what is on her list. Okay, and then Emma's, she has scrapbooking items, cowgirl boots, country music t-shirts, sticker paper, a ring stick, which I think is like a light, resin stuff, Paper, paper, paper. She's always drawing. Masking fluid for the paper. Eraser pencil. I don't know what that is exactly. And Dixie Chicks CDs. So we're going to look and see what we can find today. We had a little bit of a storm, thunder and lightning, and it's still thundering in the distance. And if you can hear our dog, she's very distraught by it, but it's not raining anymore. I think the rain is gone. The skies are very blue. But yeah, so we survived the rain. Very happy for the rain. Very glad for the moisture and the nitrogen that gets released with the thunder and lightning. At least that's what I've always heard. It does seem to benefit our garden, so glad for that. Glad that it's over. Glad that it's slightly less humid now than it was before it rained. So I looked through some of the deals on some of the things that the girls had put on their lists, and I added 2 things to the cart. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger or not. I got a 99-cent deal for Prime for a week. So I went ahead and did that. I spent the $1, and so we'll see if I decide to actually buy the 2 things on there. The books and stuff are just still way cheaper on Thrift Books or on eBay, and so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to buy them new. Once you open them, they're used anyway. So I will probably get some of the books there, and then some of the other things like the Dixie Chick CDs I can probably find at a thrift store. I can probably find, there was something else I was thinking, maybe even the scrapbook. You find stuff like that at thrift stores. And then, like, I like to be able to give in abundance, and so if I can get things cheaper, then it's easier to give more than one gift. So I would really like to get Emma the cowboy boots, but my kids have big feet, and so she wears a women's 11, usually an 11 wide, and so finding those, especially for a good deal, is not easy. I wish I knew exactly what size she wears in men's. I kind of think it's a 10, but if I can get them locally, like maybe at Gabe's or something, then I wouldn't feel so bad about it, because I don't want to order something and then not be able to return it, or buy it at a thrift store and not be able to return it if it doesn't fit. And I feel like an 11 is a really big size for women, but she does not have the biggest feet in our family. Aaron wears a size 15, I've mentioned before, and he is 15. And my other daughter, who's having a birthday this month, Evie, is turning 11, and she wears a women's 12 wide. So we have big feet here. But anyway, so I added those things, and I don't know if I'm gonna buy them or not. I should have just bought stuff already. I've been putting it off, and so I need to get it done. But anyway, did that, and sitting here with my seltzer. I don't even know. We got that at a discount store. I've had it for probably at least 6 months, but it's the last one. I love seltzer, but I can't justify the expense most of the time. So I'm enjoying that while the kids are watching their afternoon movie, and I vacuumed the pool this morning, and we're gonna go to town soon. I'm gonna go pick up Aaron from the job that he's doing, and then take Elizabeth back to camp. This is only, like I said, a half week. So we're gonna take her back up there, and I have to stop at the grocery store always. There's always something that we need. We'll stop there. Micah asked if we could stop at Five Below because he wants a new pair of goggles and he has money. So probably stop and let him do that. And then we may stop at the bank because our change jar, we have a 1 gallon cider jug, a glass cider jug, that we keep on top of our cabinet in the bathroom, and all of our change goes in there, and then about once a year we cash it out and do something with it. Usually something fun. Last year I think it went toward food for our Idlewild Day, which is an amusement park. Maybe, I think we cashed it out last in September. So it's been like 10 months since we cashed it out, and this morning I had to put a bunch of change in it, and I lifted it down. It was like, oh, it's so heavy. So it's probably time for it to go. I don't know what we're going to put this toward, but I told my husband, I was like, we could just roll up the dollars and shove them back down in there with any new change until we're ready to do something fun, because everything we've done this summer has been budgeted so far. And actually, I think I'm going to end this video in just a minute, and I'm going to start another video on how we afford to do fun things and how we're traveling as a big family on one income. But everything we've been doing has been budgeted, and we have some fun things coming up, and they have been budgeted as well. But I was reading through the Tightwad Gazette, and one of the articles was talking about how to not feel deprived. And I feel like we have really good practice in this. You guys know our story, that we have always been low income up until this year. Before this year, there was 1 year in our marriage that we made above the poverty level of income for our family size. This year we will make more than the poverty level. By last year we were just under it, and I think this year we're going to be, I think, $5,000 to $10,000 above the poverty line. So still low income for a family of 9 and a half if you count Alex. But we have had a lot of practice at learning how to not feel deprived, how to live a joyful life on not a lot of money, how to make do, how to count our blessings, and all of that. And so, yeah, it's all about perspective. And I want to talk about that in an upcoming video as well. But I think for right now, I'm just going to close this one out, and I will see you guys very soon. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.